Hey everybody, Kelly here with Kelly B's BBQ, sauces, rubs, and a plethora of other things. We also do a lot of catering. Today we're going to do a little cooking lesson, and today I chose chicken. Today we're going to do a whole chicken. In the future, I'll show you some competition chicken that I do. It's a great meal for the whole family. It's healthy and it tastes great. But there's a few things you have to do to get prepared for it. First of all, you need to trim up some of the fat. As you can see here, there's that big flap of skin. We don't need that there, okay? It's just going to be chewy. It's not healthy. So we just kind of trim those off the tail here. And by the way, a chicken does not take a lot of trimming like some of the meats we're going to do in future episodes. So we just do that. I always like to look in the cavity, make sure there's nothing that shouldn't be there. Like right here is a vessel. We'll get that out of there. Kind of pull the skin up. And other than that, that's really all there is to trimming the chicken, okay? Another thing I do with my chicken, I call it watching TV position. I take the wings, okay, this would be your wing, and I fold those wings back so it's like behind their head, okay? One, it helps stabilize it on the grill, and plus I think it kind of looks pretty cool. So anyway, that's one thing. Now, with today's chicken, we're going to inject it. Today we're using Cajun Injector roasted garlic. I use their Creole butter, which is a great for turkeys, chicken, and all that. But today I thought I'd try the roasted garlic. I've used it before. There are a lot of recipes online that you can find to make your own injections, but there's just some things in life that are easier to just buy it, okay? It's inexpensive. I'm going to use some Cajun Injector. Now there is a little bit of an art, if you want to call it an art, to injecting. One, I pop this in the microwave for about a minute so that it's semi-warm. You don't want it hot, but you want it warm. It just goes into the meat better if it's warm. When you make your first injection, go forward a little bit. You want to use the same hole. Don't make a bunch of holes because that's just a place for juice to leak out. And then in the same hole, you reverse it and get the other side of the breast. Okay? And then you mark that hole, you'll know where it's at. Same thing when we move to the back of the bird. Same thing, one hole. Forward, side, to the back, and then to the other side. You'll know you're getting the job done when you see that meat puff up. I also then do the thighs. They're right here at the bottom of the bird. Same thing, one hole. And I'll even hit up the leg a little bit. Leg doesn't need a lot, obviously. Okay? And then we do the exact same thing on the other side of the bird. There we go. And then what I like to do is take a little bit of the leftover injection, rub it on the bird because there's a lot of oils in there, much like an olive oil. It's not olive oil. Well, maybe it is. I don't know. Rub that on there, and that will hold the, because we're going to put a poultry seasoning on this, and that'll help hold that seasoning on there. Don't need a whole lot. I will grab both legs, get his back, sides, get it down in there in those crevices, a little bit down in the cavity. Make your own poultry seasoning, or look for different types. They're all out there. sitting here pitching all these guys. I'm going to make them start sponsoring me. What do you think about that? Anyway, there it is. She's ready for the smoker. So here's that chicken we prepped. As you can see, she's looking good. Still got the rub nice on her. And we just put her right in the middle. Okay, I say her. I don't know if it's a her or not. And then whenever I have a little leftover juice, I like to put it on the meat. Okay. Now with these rotisserie cookers, you have to counterbalance the meat. In other words, I'm going to let that chicken go to the other side, and then when she gets to the back side, I will put the meat on the rack that's exactly opposite of her so that it's balanced. If you put all your meat on, one side of the rotisserie, you're not going to, it'll stop. The motor gets too heavy for it to move it all. Now we're going to throw our wood on. I like to cook with cherry and hickory. I use a combination of both. There's no right or wrong. The wood is not really used to cook the food. It's used to flavor the food. Yes, it will create some heat, but your real heat source is the coals and the lump charcoal, which we'll be adding a little bit later. So point being is, use what wood you like. I personally like hickory and cherry wood. Here's a piece of cherry. See how nice and dark the grain is? Throw that right there. And then there is a piece of hickory, very white. You know hickory when you see it, and I mix them. And for you guys with the smaller smokers, you can buy small cut wood to put in the smaller fire boxes. So you can see those are catching some flame. When I close these lids, that flame will eventually douse and she'll start smoking. Kind of have a rule of thumb. One, try not to open your doors at a very minimal rate. Try to open them. It's just the more the doors stay closed, the better you hold your heat, and it's not fluctuating so much. Another rule I have, though, when you do open your doors, spritz them. I use a apple balsamic vinegar mix. There's a lot of variation. Some people use Coke, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, whatever. It really, again, one of those things, personal preference. That chicken's pretty. Whew. Cooking times vary. That chicken, all poultry is ready at 165. All right, that chicken's really looking nice. Nice color, it's not black. Let's give it a temp and see where it's at. We are right at about 166. So I'm gonna pull that baby and we will wrap it. We're gonna pull that chicken. It never hurts to have some insulated gloves because that meat can get hot. If you have one of these, don't forget to turn it on after you've turned it off. I've done that a couple of times, by the way. Okay, when I wrap meat, and I've actually got a little more foil than I need for this, but I kind of do a pinch and fold. Really helps retain the heat and the moisture. Then over here, just kind of do a little fold. You just want to try to get as sealed up as you possibly can so that it stays moist. And while it's hot, it will still do some cooking in there. Okay? Now you can also freeze it in this foil wrap. So nice little wrap. If you're not going to eat it tonight, let it cool down, throw it in the freezer, and it's a meal for later on in the week or next week for that matter. And there's your smoked chicken. Enjoy. All right, everybody. We've cooked chicken, and man, it looks good. And I hope you all have the same luck with your chicken and my tips have helped you. Give it a try. Your family's going to love it. David, here's the chicken.
Here's the chicken.